ever have that feeling, where you wake up and the dream's just gone? Like right there,
Yeah.
but you can't quite grasp it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the worst kind of tease.
Absolutely.
So frustrating. Well, that's what we're looking at today, this whole idea of elusive dreaming, those dreams that seem to vanish as soon as we open our eyes. Why are some dreams so vivid and easy to recall while others just disappear into thin air?
Right. And it's so common. It's like we're experiencing this dream amnesia.
Yeah.
Where those incredible dreams, particularly the ones we have during REM sleep, those are the most intense ones. They just fade away so quickly when we wake up. And it's interesting because REM sleep is when dreams are at their peak. But the neurotransmitters that are really important for memory formation, things like norepinephrine and serotonin, they're actually at their lowest levels during this sleep stage.
So it's almost like our brains are working overtime to create these amazing dreamscapes, but then they completely drop the ball when it comes to actually remembering them.
That's a really good way to put it. And then to add to that, the sudden switch from REM sleep to being awake can really mess with that memory transfer process.
Oh, I see.
So like if you're jolted awake by, like a loud alarm clock,
Yeah.
those dream memories might not have a chance to really solidify.
Okay, so basically hitting snooze a bunch of times probably isn't going to help me unlock the secrets of my subconscious then.
Probably not.
Okay, well, if those neurotransmitters are so low during sleep, how does any dream memory make it through?
Right.
Is it just like a random thing?
It's not entirely random. Biology definitely plays a part. But our emotional state and what's going on psychologically can have a huge impact. Dreams often act as a way for our subconscious to work through emotions and memories.
Yeah.
And even those unresolved issues we might be carrying around.
Oh, so those nights when I'm tossing and turning stressed out about work or relationships, my dreams are probably more fragmented and harder to remember just because of all that emotional intensity.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, some researchers think that this elusive dreaming might actually be a kind of built-in defense mechanism. Maybe our brains are trying to shield us from really intense or even traumatic content by making those memories a bit harder to access.
Interesting. So it's kind of like our mind saying, you know what, you don't need to relive that right now.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But then why do even the good dreams sometimes just disappear too?
Right.
Like I had this amazing dream last week where I was flying through the clouds with a whole flock of parrots.
Wow.
It felt so real.
Yeah.
But then I woke up, poof, gone.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And this leads us to another piece of this puzzle.
Okay.
It might come down to our brain's need for logic and structure.
Ah.
And dreams, they often just completely defy those expectations, right?
Right.
They can be totally nonsensical and surreal.
Yeah.
And full of bizarre imagery that our waking mind just can't quite grasp.
So if my dream logic is basically a talking cat offering me stock tips while riding a unicycle on the moon, my brain might just go, nope, filing this one under too weird, and hit the delete button.
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate way to put it.
Okay.
And I love the imagery.
Huh.
When a dream is just so far outside our everyday experience,
Yeah.
it can be really tough for our brains to encode it and then recall it later.
Yeah.
It's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So we've got these biological factors and these psychological factors all kind of working against us, making it tricky to hold on to those fleeting dream images.
Right.
But is there anything we can do to improve our chances of remembering them?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a way to train our brains to become better, dream catchers?
Absolutely. And one of the most effective ways, something we talked about earlier, it's dream journaling.
Okay, so dream journaling. I think a lot of people hear that and they think, oh, I've got to write down like every little detail, like I'm
Right.
writing a movie script or something, but it's not really about that, is it?
No, not at all. It's more about capturing like the essence, the feeling, the key symbols, maybe a striking image.
Right.
Whatever sticks with you. Even if you only remember a tiny piece of the dream, just write it down.
Yeah.
Even that little act of writing could be like a trigger to help you remember more.
So it's like you're kind of giving your brain a little nudge.
Exactly.
Like, hey, remember this. This dream was worth paying attention to. Okay, so what are some practical tips then for someone who wants to actually start dream journaling?
Well, keep it simple. Have a dedicated journal and a pen right there by your bed.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's easy to grab when you wake up.
Yeah.
And don't worry about, perfect grammar or complete sentences.
Right.
Just get those impressions down as fast as you can.
So it could be a couple keywords, a quick little sketch if that's your thing.
Exactly.
Anything that just helps capture the essence of the dream.
Yeah. And, This might sound a little out there,
Okay.
but try setting an intention before you fall asleep. Like tell yourself, tonight I'm going to remember my dreams.
Okay.
You'd be surprised how much that can help.
It's like you're planting that seed in your mind.
Exactly.
Hey, subconscious, pay attention.
Right. And remember, it's a skill.
Yeah.
Dream recall takes time, like learning anything new.
It's like a muscle. You got to work it out.
Exactly. The more you practice, the better you get at it. So don't beat yourself up if you don't see results right away.
That makes sense. But what about those of us who might need something a little more than journaling? Are there any other techniques that can help with recall or maybe even influence what we dream about?
Now that's where it gets really interesting. There's a whole bunch of different techniques people use to explore their dreams. Some folks find that meditation or visualization before bed helps.
Okay.
It kind of creates a more receptive state of mind. Then there's lucid dreaming.
Oh, yeah, lucid dreaming. That's where you become aware that you're dreaming while you're in the dream, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
And some people can actually get so good at lucid dreaming
Really?
that they can start to control their dreams, like making choices, changing the story.
It's like becoming the director of your own subconscious movie.
Exactly.
That's wild. So we're not just along for the ride, we can actually take the wheel.
It's an amazing possibility.
Right.
And even if lucid dreaming seems like a bit much, just approaching your dreams with more intention, even just more curiosity, can unlock so much meaning.
Yeah, okay. So let's say we're remembering our dreams, maybe even some of those more elusive ones. We're jotting things down in our journals. How do we start to actually make sense of them?
Right.
I think a lot of people get stuck on that part.
That's where dream interpretation comes in.
Yeah.
And there's a long and sometimes controversial history there.
Oh, I bet.
There are so many different approaches. From the classic Freudian analysis, you know all about symbolism and the unconscious,
Right.
to more intuitive methods like Jungian psychology, where dreams are seen as expressions of this collective unconscious.
It's almost overwhelming. Where do you even begin with all those different schools of thought?
Well, you have to find what resonates with you personally.
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all method for dream interpretation. But no matter which approach you take,
Okay.
some key principles can guide you. Pay attention to recurring themes or symbols in your dreams.
Okay.
Those can often point to unconscious patterns or unresolved issues.
It's like your subconscious is trying to send you a message like, hey, this is important.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your emotions. How did you feel in the dream?
Right.
Joyful, anxious, afraid. Those emotions can give you really valuable clues about what the dream means.
So it's not just about the images. It's also about how those images make us feel.
Absolutely. And remember, dream symbols, they're very personal.
Okay.
What a snake represents to one person could mean something totally different to someone else.
Right.
So don't just rely on those dream dictionaries.
Okay, yeah.
They can be a fun starting point.
Yeah.
But the best interpretations, they come from your own intuitive understanding.
So instead of saying, okay, a snake always means danger,
Right.
we might ask, what does the snake represent to me? Yep. What feelings come up when I think about it?
It's a process of self-discovery. And sometimes the meaning of a dream might not be clear right away.
Yeah.
It might take time, reflection, maybe even more journaling or exploration to really get it.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
What about those dreams that leave us feeling unsettled or even scared?
Right.
The ones that just linger for days?
Those can be tough, but they often hold the most valuable insights.
Really?
It's like our subconscious is saying, hey, pay attention to this. There's something here you need to work through.
So even if it's uncomfortable, we shouldn't try to avoid those dreams?
Lean into them. By facing those challenging dreams head on, you can start to understand what they're trying to tell you. And you might find a path toward healing, resolution, even personal growth.
It's like facing our fears in a way.
It is. And by embracing those shadow parts of ourselves, we can integrate them and become more whole.
Wow. Okay. So we've talked about techniques for remembering dreams, exploring their meaning, even facing those difficult ones. But I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, the idea that our brains might be intentionally getting rid of some dreams. If that's true, how can we tell the difference between a dream that's just clutter and one that has a deeper meaning?
That's a really good question, and there's no easy answer. But I think one clue might be how strong the emotion is that's connected to the dream.
Okay.
If a dream, even if it's fleeting or fragmented, really stirs up a strong emotion in you, chances are it's worth exploring.
So even if I can't remember the specifics, If I wake up feeling really joyful or scared or sad, that could be a sign that there was something important there.
Exactly. It's your subconscious saying, hey, this feeling is important. Pay attention.
So it's about trusting our gut feeling about a dream, even if we don't remember all the details.
Precisely. And remember, even if a dream feels elusive, just the act of thinking about it can be valuable.
Yeah.
It's like meditating on a question or contemplating a piece of art. The meaning might not be clear at first, but just the process of thinking deeply can lead to insights and new perspectives.
I like that. It's like we're encouraged to approach our dreams, even those elusive ones, with a sense of wonder and exploration.
Exactly.
Instead of getting hung up on trying to decode every little thing.
It's about embracing the mystery and trusting that our subconscious is working for our benefit, even if we don't always understand its language.
Okay, so we've explored the what and the why of elusive dreaming.
Yeah.
The how of remembering and understanding those glimpses into our subconscious. But what does it all mean? What's the big takeaway here?
I think the really fascinating thing is that elusive dreaming, instead of it being like a source of frustration, it can actually be a way to become more self-aware.
Oh, okay.
So instead of getting hung up on trying to remember every single detail,
Right.
try focusing on the feelings that linger.
Okay.
Like how did the dream make you feel? Maybe
Yeah.
you woke up feeling peaceful or anxious or inspired. Those feelings, those can tell you a lot about what's going on beneath the surface in your everyday life.
So even if the actual dream fades away,
Yeah,
the emotional impact can still teach us something.
absolutely. It's like our subconscious is sending us these little emotional messages.
Interesting.
We think about the bigger picture.
Okay.
It challenges this idea that forgetting is always a bad thing.
Oh, how so?
What if with dreams, forgetting is actually a way for our minds to declutter?
Okay.
Like it's helping us prioritize the most important stuff.
So it's like our brain is saying, okay, we got what we needed from that dream. Time to move on to new things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this brings us to another interesting point, the power of intention. Remember how we talked about dream journaling? Just setting the intention to remember our dreams can actually make us better at it.
Right.
It shows that we have more control over the dream world than we think.
So by simply intending to remember, we're already shaping the process in a way.
Yeah, we're actively participating, not just watching.
Okay, but can we take that even further? Like, could we actually learn to influence not just whether we remember a dream, but what we dream about in the first place?
And that's a question people have been trying to answer for ages.
Yeah, I bet.
There's more and more evidence that things like lucid dreaming,
Okay.
where you're aware that you're dreaming while it's happening,
Right.
that might be the key to consciously shaping our dreams.
So it's like going from watching a movie
Yeah.
to suddenly realizing you're the director.
Exactly.
You can change the script, the characters, everything. That's incredible.
And even if we don't get to that level of, full-on lucid dreaming,
Yeah.
just being more intentional, more curious about our dreams can unlock so much meaning.
Yeah. Okay.
We start to notice those little cues, the recurring symbols, how we feel.
Right.
And those elusive dreams, they become less about frustration and more about, the thrill of discovery.
So it's like instead of seeing those forgotten dreams as a failure, we can see them as a challenge to dig deeper, to ask more questions, to trust our intuition.
Exactly. Remember the dream world. It's a place of infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
The only limits are the ones we put on ourselves. So next time you wake up from a dream and you can't quite grasp it,
Okay.
don't get frustrated. See it as an invitation to explore your subconscious. What might be hidden there?
Yeah.
What new insights are waiting to be discovered?
It's like every dream, even the ones we barely remember,
Yeah.
it's a little clue to who we are.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
And that's the magic of dreams, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's this realm of endless potential.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to embrace the mystery. Don't dismiss those elusive dreams. Keep exploring those inner landscapes. You never know what you might find.